this should be a good one. Three boats within about 1 mile an hour of each other. For the first time, Mark Evans in lane 1 will have to face the other two Marks. That'd be Mark Tate in lane 2 and Mark Webber in lane 3. From the eye in the sky, we see Mark Tate jump out to the early lead in lane 2.
The draws really have favored the Pico team all day long, but now they've got a race for it.
You can see the glare here in San Diego coming off the water. Makes it tough to drive along with everything else. Mark Evans on the inside, and Pico will try to get back the early lead from Tate, and Mark Webber driving hard. Budweiser on the left of your screen now going out of it. But Mark Tate is holding the slim lead so far in lane 2. Close call over Mark Evans and Pico American Dream. The first lap of 5 2.5-mile laps, so it's going to be a long race. All the heats are only 3 laps.
Mark Tate's got a slight advantage. He's riding that boat perfectly on a cushion of air going through that turn, but at a slight disadvantage because he's in lane 3.
And showing up that disadvantage here is Mark Evans on the inside, passing up and taking the lead now.
A little bit of air underneath the Pico, but we've got a deck-to-deck battle.
From the bad eye in the sky, you indeed can see how close these first two boats are. Now Evans will try to stay tight to the buoys going around, and Tate will try to keep him in there. Both men driving well around the turn.
Both boats are just tucked into each other, just driving perfectly. Heading down the backstretch now. The Budweiser's running a little bit of a distant third, but again at a disadvantage because he's way to the outside.
149 miles an hour, the average lap time for Mark Tate in close call of the Zodiac timer. But here is your leader, a little light but under control, Mark Evans. On board with Mark Webber, check out the rooster tails to his left.
You can see the rooster tails and the glare, and when that salt water gets on the canopy, it kind of crystallizes. It makes seeing very difficult.
Mark Evans holding on to the lead now in Pico, and 150 miles an hour on the Zodiac lap timer. That's his average speed, 1 mile an hour faster than Mark Tate, who now is falling just a bit behind him.
This is a fast final heat. We've got the top 3 boats here going for it. It's just like a shootout.
And again, this is a very fast course, the only course in the world built specifically for racing unlimited hydroplanes on.
Water conditions are getting a little bit rougher. You can see where the wind is a factor coming up the backstretch and picks up the right spots into the Pico. He's got to correct for that and get it back on the water.
Once again on board with Mark Webber. He's got his work cut out for him. The Pico crew likes what's happening out there, and indeed the crew should, because Mark Evans looks like he's very well on the way to picking up his 4th win in a row. No non-Budweiser driver has done that since 1985.
Well, it just goes to show you the importance of lane choice. The Picos had lane choice all day long, and again in the final they picked lane 1.
Back in 1985, it was Chip Hanauer driving the Miller American, the last non-Bud driver to win 4 in a row. Zodiac lap timer telling us both Close Call and Pico are 2 miles an hour slower than they were in the previous lap, but still mighty fast at 149 and 147.
Very fast, and it doesn't appear that removing that rear shoe on the right rear corner of the Close Call has hurt him at all. That boat's running perfectly. It's best I've seen it run all year.
Into the home stretch, Mark Evans. It says on the side of the boat, the mark of quality. We like to get him and say, that's you. He says, yes, it is. That's your champion, and it is 4 in a row for Fred Leland's Pico American Dream Team. Once again, the bridesmaid, Mark Tate in Close Call. 3rd place for Mark Webber in the Miss Budweiser. So as we check the Fruit of the Loom results, another perfect day for Pico, picking up 600 points. Close Call gets 1,400, and moving up on Budweiser as Steve David, this time unable to finish in the Harvey Motorsports.